All right, welcome to the Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, September 22nd, 2021. Present are John Short, Mike Carwood, Cindy Wakeman, Lizette Enhofer, Tim Macklin, John Cohen. Call to order, we have a quorum. All right, bills and communications. Approval of draft meeting minutes of August 11th, 2021. Everyone have a chance to look at the meeting minutes? Any changes, corrections?
I saw one in the first sentence, Wednesday, June 9th, 2021, should be Wednesday, August 11th.
Oh, thank you.
Good.
And then we submitted that on there. It says Mr. Short reported that about 100 bags fat collectors. It's just fat collectors, so you can leave the bag.
Yeah. So it's just that, about 100.
Yeah, 100 fat collectors.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
All right, someone want to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of August 11th, 2021?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 11th, 2021.
I'll second the motion.
Was that second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Committee reports, clam relay and planting. On September 7th, we did a relay. We brought approximately 105 baskets at a bushel and a quarter each, which is approximately 130 bushel of clams from west of the Penfield Reef over to Sasco Beach. The bed is well stocked right now, so once we open up, people are going to get their fill. We'll see how it goes, how many people get out there. I don't know if we want to do anything else this year. We've been closed quite a bit, but we always have that 2-week window in November that we could possibly do another relay if we want to use the funds and get some more clams out there for the winter. It usually holds us well into May. So the next planting. So we can decide that at the next meeting. But as of now, there's plenty of clams, and there's a really good mix of clams out there. A lot of little necks, a lot of top necks, and some cherries, and not too many cohogs went in. So those baskets have, 270 to 300 clams in each bushel. So figure it out, there's like 35,000 clams that went in. Anything else on clam relay or planting?
Nothing.
You go to water and habitat quality with that.
Okay, so we're opening for 18 days and closed for 13 days. With 4 1/4 inches of rain. For August.
That's August, right?
So.
And they're still closed.
We're closed.
So yeah, we noticed that the water was not nice for a long time. And when I brought the meat sample into aquaculture, they said the water still wasn't, the testing wasn't good last week in our area. So even if we hadn't done the relay, we wouldn't have opened. And
Very
if we,
sad. Very sad after that great video.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. At the town waiting.
well, if the meat sample comes back clean tomorrow, they'll open us. So the water's good enough now. We just have to hope that the meat is clean. Which usually it is. I don't think this gets failed on a meat sample. And those clams came from, you know where Sunken Island is? Just inside of Sunken Island.
Where's Sunken Island?
Sunken Island is off of the tip of Fairfield Beach Road, near the outlet of Pine Creek. Mike's got it on maps.
Like over here.
Sure.
You can only see it at low tide.
Oh, I know what it is. That thing you run the boat up on, almost on it.
Yeah.
Not the lighthouse thing, but the one that's farther down.
Right.
Yep.
This Pine Creek.
Yeah, I know. You're saying that's where they collected the oysters, the clams from?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for water and habitat?
Yep.
All right. Permits and access. What's that again?
So permits, we are at 370 permits.
All right.
Is that a record for us?
That is a record.
Mm-hmm.
There is a slight possibility of getting some more. But
We can do them all online. Going online is huge.
yeah.
So, we are. Yes, 238 resident, 111 senior, and 21 non-resident. So $6,710.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Increase that way.
All right. We'll go to 3A, Southport Beach reopening. Mike.
So, few things. We did have two huge storms. We had Henry, and Ida. And I went out after Henry on Thursday, it was the 26th, did some samples. And it's one of those live and learn type things. I brought them back to the car, ready to pick up in Milford. And all the labels were waterlogged. So my pen ran, I couldn't figure out which one was which. So I think a good thing to do, and they mentioned it too, is put like a 1 on the first one and then put a little sticker on top so that you know which one's at which station. Otherwise, I kind of...
Right.
So it was a bust. The second one was with Ida when we just didn't hit the window. We had the holiday and we had Jewish holiday too. And the office is closed on Fridays. No one accepts samples on Fridays. So we're on small windows about the test.
And when you bring those samples, do you have to call in or email in advance?
I usually email Alyssa and Kate, who's the lady, Russo? Kristen Russo. So I'll email them and I'll say, is it okay? Because they have been said, we're short of staff, or there's reasons why you can't. So then we had a big one in July. They said, no, we have too much testing from around the state, so we can't. And so if you have to notify them prior to bring the sample.
What is the time frame after the event?
4 days.
4 days.
Yeah, I know. I also emailed Alyssa to give me the window of when it is, because it is specific on when it starts and when it ends. It's usually when the rain ends.
So if we get rain on Friday, hopefully we get less than an inch, but does it have to be over our threshold for the beds, or?
So we can, I don't understand the question.
Well, like Shasco is 1 inch. Does it have to rain over an inch, or can it be any rain event?
In order for this, for it to be an adverse condition, it has to be over a half an inch. So Alyssa did want to see a monthly one anyway, so if we don't have it, then we can go and get a testing done anyway, just to kind of keep a record on a monthly basis of how the samples look, just to gauge that. But that won't help us in regards to our goal of opening up the beds.
All right.
So nothing to really report. We have no progress, but lessons learned on the sample.
Yeah. What do we normally do? We throw them in like a Ziploc bag or something? Or?
So, I had ice in there and I also had packs, but I think when I was doing it as well, I had water, and when I put it in, you have to keep this very specific, so I wanted to see if we could do another testing because Cindy has done this in the past. So it would be great if she can be an official water tester as well. So I put it, you have to have a temperature control one, and they all need to be under ice until you get there. So you have to maintain about 50 degrees.
It's interesting with the meat sample, you have to have a temperature control, but it can be any small bottle. So I have like a little water bottle.
Oh.
I dug the clams, threw them in the ice, brought them down, and the bottle of water was there. And I doubt between the time I got them and got down there that the clams had gotten much colder than, because you put them in a bag inside and then the ice goes around it.
I think next time we'll just have set something up, be a little more prepared, just bringing a cooler with me as I do it. I'm not just sloshing around. Just got water on all the labels. Just a mess.
Yeah, okay. All right.
The cups are about, it's like the examination that you get in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
You just fill it up to where there's just a little space at the top. You need the air. So it's not a lot. It's maybe 4 ounces.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's trying, so.
Yeah, so there's a stick, the measuring stick is in the storage locker along with cups. So if we do have an event, they're there for, just kind of keep track of who's doing what.
All right, there's plenty of them there, right?
There's you need at least 5, I think, temperature control,
7.
and 4 testing stations. But you want to have...
that's just for Southport.
Yeah, just for Southport. So you want a few extras just in case. Maybe they crack or, So I brought 2 extras with me.
All right. That's it for Southport Beach?
That's it. Yeah, and I don't know how do we get another member from the committee. We get Cindy on that committee. Like to nominate her. That's how we go about it.
No, we'll just put her on it.
Okay.
She's gonna.
Congratulations.
Volunteers.
So, on that note, so I know we're going out of order here, but wherever it says Detmer, put Wakeman and add Wakeman to Southport Beach reopening.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Commercial shellfish regulations, I'll report on that, so there's no report. Oyster bed development. I'll start with that. So on the spat collectors in Ash Creek, they're covered in oysters. We lost about 10 of them. I don't know if we've lost any more, but we lost probably 10. That's not too bad with having 2 hurricanes come right up to Connecticut. But there is oysters on them, so that's good. Other than that, let's see. Oysters that came from the downwellers were planted on Pasco Beach on the right side of the jetty, so the west side of the jetty, in and around the grass area. If anyone is down there, take a look around, see if you see any still there. They seem to float around really easy. What else are we doing? Our bags of spat and shell, they've caught a few oysters. So, but they're still, we'll plant them. Tim, you're still collecting shell?
Yep.
How's that going?
Good, it's Bryak. I do have a question. A woman who is in Stanford, who is a grad student in UConn, reached out to me, and she's trying to get a shell recycling program going in Stanford. And going well, but she hit some roadblocks in Stanford and apparently doesn't want to store shell. I haven't asked her yet, but I wanted to see if he'd be willing to possibly, if she was interested in it, using our storage space for her to dump her shell. Some kind of collaborative.
What kind of numbers are we talking about?
I haven't gotten that far with her. You know, just because she asked me questions about our program, so I was just relaying information to her. But I don't have her specific numbers, and I didn't want to offer it up if you guys don't.
You might want to put her in touch with Tessa Getchell.
I think she has been. I think Tessa referred her to me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what kind of numbers.
All right. Yeah, I'll throw it out there as a possibility depending on her numbers.
She's just doing it because she wants the shell. Do you have any ideas of planting it or anything like that?
I mean, she's trying. Like I said, I haven't gone into a ton of detail with her, but she's just a UConn grad student looking to get a program going there. I don't know what her ultimate goal is to do with the shell. Right. Get it back in the water. But I can open up the conversation.
We could probably offer something
collaborative program or something.
Going to let us just put the shell in the water here.
Yeah.
All right. And then we did get the shell from the Milford Oyster Festival. Ed Jones either took a truck down there, sent the truck down, and got the shell, and I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, it's kind of in a small pile in between the two other piles. At some point, we'll get all of that moved into one pile.
Mike? Okay.
Oh, do you want to, sorry, one question. Do you want to set a date now to remove the back collectors and get those oysters off? Because it would be, I was just looking at the schedule. So we do it on a weekend, October 9th is a Saturday and 10th is a Saturday. It looks like Sunday low tide is 8:41 a.m. It's kind of early. It's 7:49 on Saturday. The weekend after that, Saturday the 16th, it's 3:04 p.m. So it would be later in the afternoon, but we might be fighting late then. I don't know. Maybe not.
What about the weekend after that?
October.
Oh.
You want to wait until the next meeting to decide?
Yeah.
Okay.
October 9th might be too early.
From what I recollect, we usually do it in November. Is there a reason that we do it in November? I'm just trying to get,
I think that we've done it in November.
We've done it at the end of October. I think the latest we've gone is November.
Yeah.
One the year before was like end of October.
So it's ended up happening in November because no one was available in October
Schedule.
because of like baseball or softball and then that all ends right at the end of October. And we're all able, it gets a little chilly in November sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So we could be up against that. And we're using the tumbler, which sprays water all over the place.
Yeah.
So it would be nicer to do it maybe in October. But I think October 9th is too early. My birthday also.
Oh, you want to do that on your birthday?
It doesn't matter to me.
Do you want to tentatively plan? I mean, do you think it's...
How about not the weekend after?
3 p.m.
That's too late. So the weekend after that would be an early tide?
Yeah, the weekend after that is...
You know that off the top of your head?
No, but it's just the cycles. I can look.
We did October 25th last year.
And it's still fairly cold, right?
That's a nice day. Oh, no, we did it 4 hours, which is amazing. Yeah, we had
It wasn't bad because after the kind of sweatshirt on.
Yeah, it
You
warmed
have to
up.
use clothes, so sometimes they'll
Yeah,
it
early in the morning, it definitely warmed up.
It wasn't bad.
All right.
You want to just table that for now?
Yeah. The next meeting is what?
We do back to regular schedule.
13. We'll decide on the 13th. There's some people that have been sending messages that want to volunteer for things, and that's what I push out there. So we should have some volunteers. I know that Zofia, or Zosha, do you know how to pronounce her name? Okay, it's spelled Zofia. Bauman from Yukon is willing to help, and she'll probably bring some people. So hopefully that happens.
Yeah, I think we did like close beans on Facebook last year, and we got 4 or 5 people.
So let's schedule for that. All right, let's go to communications. Sean's dying to say something.
Let's switch the order on this. So, you'll understand where I'm going. Who do you guys follow around town on social media? Could be Brenda, could be who? John Short, but in addition to John Short, who else? You don't have to give me the answers right now, but I'm glad to hear that we're at a good level on permits. Ultimately, if we take a look at why we're posting stuff on social, we want to make the cash register ring. Not totally and completely, but that's part of the goal, which is to say, this is a great way to spend time with your family here at Fairfield. If we're using Instagram, I think we're getting anywhere from 12 to 20 likes per post showing basically, Fairfield's beautiful. That does Instagram well. The informational side of it, we're saying, hey, the beds are open, the beds are closed, the beds are open, the beds are closed. That's just sort of notifying people. I think where we have an opportunity, because you did get some positive feedback on the video from a couple weeks ago, is a little bit of longer form content. So we got 400 plus views on the video, which I can't see how many people saw the post, but that seems like a lot of people watching the video around town.
No, I lost 50.
Maybe you're 50. So if we can get some interesting folks around here that have a lot of people locally that follow them, I can in some way engage them and say, hey, here's some ideas. We get you down, clamming, whatever it might be. We film that. We push that out not only on our channel, but within theirs. We start to amp up our numbers and we get more people aware of what we're up to. And then hopefully down the line that trickles down to you talk about your friends and you'll say, hey, let's do this next year. Let's do it at the end of this season, whatever it is. So if you guys have somebody that you can think of locally, it doesn't have to be in government, just somebody that's around town, maybe somebody, sports coach, whatever it might be. If you think there's a lot of people that follow what they post within Facebook or Insta, I'm guessing not a lot of TikTokers our age, but let me know, because otherwise I can certainly run numbers and see who has the most followers of the obvious people around town, but I'd like to also know who's the sleepers.
I follow Fairfield Police Department.
Okay.
I think Town of Fairfield or something, maybe. Mill River Wetlands. I don't know how many members, these things have.
Yep.
Ash Creek Conservation. Oh, I don't know.
I know Laura Devlin from the Grange. She lives up in Greenville Hills.
Okay.
And she has a lot of people. She has a shellfish.
She what?
Looks like she has a shellfish permit too.
Okay, good. Then she's.
What about like the parking lot?
Yeah, she posts a lot.
Yep, I can go to them. Again, part of it is, I think I can look at the basic governmental groups and reach out to some of them and try and get some traction. It's more like if you think of this person here has, they post witty, interesting things. If they did something creative with us, it would make them look interesting, help us. Let me know.
We have local business. A friend of mine owns all of my stuff, which is like a secondhand store. I don't think we ever get our shirts back in order, but if you were to sell our shirts and then some kind of partnership that way, I don't know if we had those blue ones that were really nice. The Tasco ones. I
think I have the info on the shirt.
It's called All My Stuff.
All of like the
All of My Stuff.
Yeah, all of my stuff. Her name's Allie Papa George.
Okay.
It's right over there by across from Mars.
Okay.
He's got I'm just looking at over 3,000 followers.
Yeah.
And she sells clothing, so if we could get our shirts in there. He's local
She
artist.
does everything local.
Yeah. Yeah. Local artist. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
And Bryac is a big follower of the Shellfish Commission. I don't know if they have a lot of followers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Most of the things huge number. You're right, Allie does some cute little whatever.
Yeah.
She has a big following.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So since the word you mentioned, T-shirts and hats, no one said hats, but would someone want to take that over of handling the ordering of T-shirts and hats? Really all it is, it would be to find out where we got the shirts and then communicate with Tim Bishop as to, the order and that, basically have the order ready to go
Mm-hmm.
and have him pay for it with the credit card, I guess. And that would come out of our fund. So the money would be transferred, I guess, from the fund to however they pay the credit. Whatever
This is for us, or this is, we sell these things?
So we sell them at our big event, the Clam Clinic.
Yep.
And sometimes we give them out, you know, as appreciation for maybe the volunteers or
Mhm.
something, or someone that does something really good for the Shellfish, our
Yep.
contest.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some really, the Nantucket hats are Nantucket red, I guess they call it. They're sort of pink, but people like that hat. That's a nice hat. It'd also be nice in gray or the lightest blue, you know, the slate blue or whatever it is, or slate. So if we could get some of the blue shirts made,
Yeah.
you know, we do have our regular red shirt, which is Fairfield Shellfish Commission, and then on the back is We Dig Clams.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, is anyone interested in possibly heading up the T-shirt and hat renewal?
Yeah. I can reach out to Al.
All right. You might have sent me all the information. I have to go back. I have an email from her with a bunch of different info. All right.
And that's Allison from all my stuff?
No, sorry, Al used to be on the commission.
Got Allison, yeah.
No, I thought it was Ally.
Allie.
I didn't know if you were Allison and Allie and going, it could be.
It
Could be.
should be like, yeah, no.
No.
Anything else on communication?
That's it. I mean, I think we most of our stuff we get between 12 and 20 likes. We get a handful of comments coming from people. I think it's fine. I mean, I think we're putting out what we want. I think we're going to ramp up the content side, and I'll have more to report next month on the stuff we just talked about.
So, I saw Tony Huang at the Grange for their picnic. Actually, no, I saw him at Home Goods. Sorry. And he wants to go clamming. That's why
I'm writing his name down.
And you know, Tony likes. I think, I don't know. Maybe he's just photogenic, but it seems like he's in a lot of photos.
He's everywhere.
Yeah. So I was thinking, what would be fun would be is I promised to take him clamming, but only if people are permit. Would be like if Tony went, maybe to get, you know, someone. I think Tony's Republican. Maybe get like a different party at the same to go clamming with Tony. You know, so that if we do take some pictures, you know, it's fair and balanced. But it could be a little competitive kind of. You know, I know we're non-political here, but I don't want to throw pictures up.
Yeah, but there could be almost, they go, but then we encourage people to come down and go clamming and ask your representatives questions while you're, you know, knee deep in water.
So something to think about. But my feeling is that it won't happen anyway. So on that also is when we reopen, I think a lot of people will want to go out there. So if it is this weekend and if it's nice out, if anyone is going to go clamming, maybe throw on your Shellfish Commission shirt or hat. And if you see anyone struggling, you know, give them a hand. And tell them who you are and what we do and all that. All right. We'll go to...
I went to take pictures of some guys one time, and they started showing me their badges, and they were like, no pictures.
All right. Go to downwellers. Who wants to start talking about downwellers?
Oh, boy.
Mike?
We got a lot of downloads. Well,
Start with the storms.
okay, storms. So we had Henri, which was all the rain, right? August 21st came down. That was the big one.
Henri wasn't that bad. I think
Henri was
August 21st.
a little bit of a...
Right, where we were worried about the surge that came in. So went down there the night before at midnight. We had a high tide, so we had a full moon, we had a high tide, and we had a surge for the next day. So went down there, put some sandbags on it, we didn't know what to expect. I mean, we turned them up for a week, 2 weeks, and now we have the biggest thing that we were worried about was a hurricane, was a surge. So I went down there at midnight, wasn't bad. The tide came in pretty high, making me a little nervous. But we had at least 2 feet before it even hit like the grass part where it was. So the next day around noon, Tim was there, I was there, we had a few other folks come down, and we were not. The surge was limited because of a north wind. Even with the surge, we were 2 feet away from it being a concern. The first part that we were actually worried about that would affect us is the pump. So if it hits the pump, then we have about probably a foot from the pump where we would really worry about the actual downloads moving because of surf. But at that point, it would be we'd have a lot more to worry about if it hit that. So we made it through the storm free and clear, no problems. Nothing needed to be moved. It was just a good feeling that, hey, we weathered this.
But what did happen? I think we had an extra low tide because of that wind pushing the water out.
So you worry about the high tide, but I didn't go down to observe the low tide. But what we did have is that where the pump is located, and we all know that this is brand new, so we're learning as we go along. Our contraptions are set up in different ways. We have a lot of moving pieces. The dock goes up, goes down. We also have, so when it went down, we believe that it sucked in a lot of the muck, black names that's on the top of that because there was no control high tide. It killed some of the bottom layer oysters that were in the baskets. But we didn't have a huge amount of die-off. So maybe 10%, would you say, overall, of what were in the boxes?
We switched them around, and then we did plant a bunch of those. Or was that up to the second storm?
Well, I'll go into the black mane. When you see it, it's really black. I mean, it is, and it looks like black mane. It has that consistency. What you'll see now is when we clean out the boxes, you'll see a layer of brown. It doesn't look good at all. It looks gross, but I think it's common. I think that's what we're going to be faced with, is the brownness. But when it's black, that's when it kills oysters.
Oysters that were dead, that were lower down, are actually white in color with black mud on them. But it's almost like it's like acidic, that mud, and it just etched them clean.
I read about that you're saying it's black. I was wondering, like, I haven't even down there to see that. Which was interesting.
So does the muck get pumped in through the top and then it steps down to the bottom the way the water would normally?
So our pump sits in a milk crate with a rock in it and floats. So when the tide goes down, it goes down. When it goes up, so it's.
But where does the water enter the downwellers? At the top.
Yeah.
So the muck had to get pumped in the top.
Oh, it comes up through the intake pipe, through the pump, goes up, and into the top of the downweller.
Comes down.
Goes down.
Yeah.
Our discharge,
but it only got the ones on the bottom because it sat in them for a while. It didn't affect the ones on the top.
because all the water, we got fresh water still coming in.
Yeah.
So it must have been sort of swirling around at the bottom. And then we got through that, and then we had another storm. And kind of the same thing sort of happened, but we got down there quickly and cleaned them.
Yeah.
And then we sorted and planted and cleaned. So it looks like it's about a 7-day window between cleanings, right? It's basically a week. Right now it's been over a week, and they need to be cleaned.
So I think we went down there September 10th was the big clean out the three of us did, where we emptied them all, cleaned them out. Right?
That was us three.
Us three.
Yeah, that was the last time they were done.
Yeah, I didn't want to clean out anything since. So Cindy and I went down today, and all we did was we took, and you'll see the numbers. We numbered them all on there. We took number 2, and we just, all we wanted to do was rinse them off. A layer of brown on top. Not too bad. It's gross. I mean, it's 2 weeks almost from when we did this, 12 days. And then we cleaned out number 6. When I mean clean out, we just took out the oysters and rinsed them off. And then since we were there, we just emptied number 2. And we didn't even rinse it out. We just kept the inflow going and just washed it out. We didn't scrub the sides or anything, we just emptied it. So you could see, we have the totes upside down, there's big holes like this. And you could see a layer, like almost a stalactite starting to form on the bottom where the holes were. And they were brown, but underneath did have some black mayonnaise. There's some black mixed in, but not a lot. So it looks like the black sinks, brown stuff kind of just settles in, almost like dust.
You didn't notice any kill though, right?
No.
No.
No, there was some that were dead, but I wouldn't even put a percentage on it. You know, there were a lot of squirts. Yeah, many squirts this time. The first in that box, what did we pull out? At least 100.
Yeah.
At least, I'd say more like 200 in that first basket. Yep.
I've been going down there every day and looking at them, and yeah, I saw that layer. But I don't know if you noticed how fast they're growing. There's like a quarter inch of new growth on them, and we just tumbled them, not long ago.
Yeah.
So they're growing pretty fast. But the thing works.
Everything, the pump's been going. I cleaned out the intake, just the bottom in the milk crate. There's crabs hanging out in there. It doesn't see. I didn't really see too much of an effect on cleaning it out. So when I look at it, they have the outflow coming out, and then they go, there's some of the debris on it, but it doesn't seem to have a big effect.
Because I cleaned it one day, it was totally covered. Before we put the hula hoop on it, and the net, it was totally covered in leaves and seaweed, and I cleaned it all up, and it didn't change the flow. So it still sucks in the water.
Yeah.
And then, have you been there when it cleaned out the impeller?
No, I was not there.
All right, so I'll just show you how to do that. Tim knows how to do it. I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And you know what? When we get a box down there next year, we'll have tools in it and things like that, so you can easily, and maybe even a sheet on how to do it. But when it does suck in a bunch, it gets like these branches about that long, and they wrap around the impeller, and it slows down the flow.
Right.
But it's clean now, and it's been flowing really well. So that's good. So the thing works,
Great.
At least, we'll figure, we'll learn some more about it, but so far so good.
It's a great conversation starter. When we were there, we spent half the time talking to the public.
Oh.
We do need to get a kiosk on there.
So that's what we got to talk about is the sign. We have to have a sign. So we might want to have something like a kiosk or even a sign, and maybe a sign that sort of slips into two, like, receptacles so we can lift it and do our work and stuff like that. But a sign kind of like what they have up in Provincetown, to explain kind of what it is, and maybe with a phone number or an email or something like that, where people, if they want to come and observe the cleaning or something, or,
And it's a great spot to, just put a little thing for volunteers.
Right. And then the other thing is, we probably need to get on the facing the water, the left-hand side, some more gravel put in. Because we usually fill that there. So
we need a locker. We definitely need a locker to put some tools there, and we need a log just to put things in. And it would be good for, just putting in simple date, time, who was there, observations. So that would be perfect. A
logbook right inside, so every time someone goes, if you go down there just to make sure the pump is running and you clean the little screen, but if you do something, take oysters out or clean them up, then it helps the next guy that goes down, because there's no way to get everyone down there.
And observations, I think, are pretty good too. Just seeing what the sea squirts are, and we're all learning on this and seasonality of it too. Like, I would expect that the water should be starting to get cleaner. Just the lower the temperature, less algae, and we get less storms, hopefully. We
started our system when the water was the dirtiest, and then 2 hurricanes the very first week, or first 2 weeks of 2 hurricanes. When we start this thing in May, that's when we're going to start it, the water doesn't start clouding up until, June, July. Probably July it hits 70 degrees, so we'll have 2 clean months there. And right now we're getting leaves and all kinds of stuff. But all right, Mike, 325.
Oh,
go.
All right, Mike is exiting the meeting, but he got his,
Jack, but I
Oh,
I've
that's
been
okay.
here since 6, and I don't think
don't worry, there's nothing else happening.
All right.
All right, see you later.
Yeah. We'll have next week.
All right.
Bye.
You got anything in town, Lois?
No, I think that pretty much covers it, other than, like,
So anyone that
maybe
hasn't been
oh,
down
that
there,
email, just like, so that we know someone went down, like, obviously keep a logbook, but if, like, someone goes down there and cleans them all, let everybody know, just so that,
oh yeah,
you don't go down there the next day.
right. Right now, yeah, we're not gonna put a logbook till next year, so.
Yeah, no, but just some kind of communication, letting people know that, you know,
Yeah,
you went down there and cleaned the bin or whatever.
yeah, so we know that, what ones were cleaned?
Well, what would be the preferred way everybody wants to come in?
Well, that's what I was talking about too. So what is the preferred way? Does everyone want to get on a group text or an email? 'Cause I have a hard time with emails sometimes where they start stacking up on top of each other. Then I'm like clicking on a whole bunch of emails and so I do everything on the phone. So it could just be a text that goes out that says, hey, we cleaned 1 and 6, or we cleaned, 1 and 2, and then simple as that. That would be preferred for me with the group text.
Works for me, that's fine.
About that, yeah.
All right, because the email chain is too much for me. Not gonna lie. All right, and then Tim installed. If you've been down there, we have our intake. We have a milk crate with a foot valve in it and 2 orange buoys on it. Now we're getting a lot of leaks, so Tim made a PVC ring with floaties on it and a screen going down to try to keep some of the stuff out. And it seems to be working. So.
There was a couple crabs in there today.
Yeah, there was a keeper in there the other day, and I let it go. All right. All right. Reports from the Conservation Department. I'll handle that. Shellfish fund balance is $32,842.70 as of August 31st. Obviously, there's 370 permits. This year, we've been open 184 days, closed 59. That's up to August 31st, I guess. There's some budget status. No comment on that. No. All right. Old business.
Old business.
New business. Informational. So, I got some information. So, Yukon Sea Grant has a committee together, and they applied for this big grant for shellfish restoration in Connecticut, and it was approved. And they've started their committees, and one of the big parts of this is shell collection and recycling and all that. So, we started doing this 4 years ago, 3 years ago,
2015, I think.
All right, so 6 years ago. So we kind of got the state on board, I guess, and there's going to be a lot of shell collection going on, and there'll be more to come with that. Hopefully, some things happen in Fairfield. So last year, I know they worked with some harvesters of collecting oversized oysters and planting them in certain areas, and Fairfield got some of those offshore. And they may do that again this year. But we should be benefiting from this. I think there might have been an email sent out with a webinar on Friday. Did everyone get that?
I didn't get it, no. Who sent it out?
Joanne sent something out. I thought maybe it wasn't Friday. Oh.
I didn't get it.
All right. Anyone got any other informational goodies? Any other?
I got one for you, John.
All right, Tim's on the line. Go for it.
Just briefly, I'm not sure where it will lead, but I reached out or made contact with, I guess, gentleman who leads the Billion Oyster Project in New York. I'm not sure what'll happen, but we said we would get in touch with each other tomorrow. It's a huge operation they have in the city with putting oysters in New York Harbor. I was just on their website while I was on the call, and I'm not sure, again, where it would lead, but might be a good contact to share information or tell stories or whatever. So I'll copy you on those emails between him and I.
All right, that sounds good.
They were on the Today Show recently. So they're getting a lot of publicity. They got a big board of directors. I'm sure it's a lot of funding behind them, but it might be interesting to see if they have any tips and not any good advice.
Yeah, one of the scientists that's gonna hopefully show up to volunteer taking the spat off the collectors was part of the Billion Oyster Project also, so that would be interesting.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys? All right. Well, we got no public comment. So who wants to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting of September 22nd, 2021.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.